Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Good afternoon, one and all. Present over here to attend today ACT ATL online FTP on cyber security and digital forensics, organized by Department of Electrical, Electronics and Communication Engineering, Geetham deemed to be University, Bangalore campus. Today, we have with us Dr. Renju Eskata to handle the session on VPN technology and cryptography. Dr. Renju Eskata is an associate professor of Computer Science and Engineering Department at Mangalam College of Engineering, Kottayam, Kerala, since July 2020. She has around 13 years of teaching experience in engineering colleges. She received PhD in data security from the School of Computer Science, Mahatma Gandhi University, Kottayam, Kerala. She obtained MTech in cybersecurity from Amrita University, Coimbatore. Her research area are in data security using cryptography, network security, and blockchain technology. She had developed a new polyalphabetic substitution cipher by generating infinite number of alphanumeric random tables. She has published many research papers in reputed international journals. She is a life member of Indian Society of Technical Education, ISTE. So, ma'am, on behalf of entire Geetham family, and on my own behalf, I welcome you to this FTP program. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Jeevan KM. Thank you for your kind introduction. So, can I start my presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it visible?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, sure, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, all the participants. So today I'm going to discuss on VPN technology and cryptography. Our session agenda: what is a VPN, objective of VPN, why we need a VPN, then VPN functions, how does VPN works, VPN encryption, VPN protocols, then types of VPN, and how we can choose a VPN. So we can start with what is a VPN? So we all know that VPN is a virtual private network. It's a private network that is built over a public infrastructure. So the security mechanisms such as encryption allow a VPN user to securely access a network from different locations via a public telecommunication network, most frequently the internet. So we can say that this VPN is a service that creates a safe encrypted online connection. So in internet users may use VPN for a secure transmission. That means for a secure, for more privacy, they are using this VPN. So the VPN essentially extends a private network across a public network, which would allow a user to securely send and receive data across the internet. So actually the VPN can be used to hide users' browser history, commonly internet protocol, that is IP address, and geographical location, and then web activity or a device being which device being used. So anyone on the same network will not be able to see what a VPN user is doing. So this makes the VPN is a online go-to tool for online privacy. So now we can see what are the objectives of VPN. So from the user's perspective, the VPN is a point-to-point connection, the user's computer and a corporate server. So VPN allows telecommuters, remote employees, or even a branch of officers to connect in a secure fashion. So next we can see why we need a VPN. So we know that nowadays an increased part of our lives take place in online. So we do our banking, keep in touch with friends, check our medical records and work online. So it is important that all this information about ourselves that is online. So we don't want our data or our privacy that should be known to others. So if you do not secure your internet connection, we will run the risk that hackers, governments, internet provider, websites, our employer, or others will find out more about ourselves. So a VPN shields our data from all these groups. How it's possible? There is a government that have tracked the people down by their IP address with the help of persons, ISP, that is Internet Service Provider, and online business of all kind. They monitor activities coming from IP address. They may not know your name, but they know who they which sites we are using, which websites we are most commonly using, and so they know our behavior. So online companies and networks can restrict someone's access to a website based on where the user is located. So how they know where we are located using this IP address. So then we can come into this hackers. Hackers, they can break into networks and sometimes take over device through the IP address. So the VPN account can instantly and continuously proving that they will provide more privacy, more security, more website access, and more anonymity. That means this VPN, they are hiding our IP address. So by hiding the IP address, they are providing privacy, security, and they provide more website access and also the anonymity. So privacy means your connect. That means our connection that cannot be linked to our computer and us. That means you can visit any website and our ISP does not know where you are being. Then more security means actually the VPN connections that are super secure. That means the network is hack proof and all of our internet activity is encrypted, or you can say that it's coded, and it is unreadable in transit. And more website access. More website access means no more blogs or censorship. They can't prevent from getting to websites based on IP address. Then more anonymity. More anonymity means our true IP address is hidden. So you are unidentified online because you are constantly using a different IP address, never your own. So we are using a IP VPN server, and it will provide us a different IP address. So our actual IP address is hidden. Now we can see VPN functions. So VPN carries private traffic over a public network using advanced encryption and tunnels to protect. So it provides confidentiality of the information. That means preventing the data to be read or copied as the data is being transported. So that means the sender can encrypt the package before transmitting them across a network. So by doing so, no one can access the communication without permission. So if intercepted, the communication cannot be reached. Next is integrity of data. So integrity of data means ensuring that the data has not been altered. So the receiver can verify that the data was transmitted through the internet without being altered. Next function is authentication of user. Authentication of user means the identity verification of network system. That means the receiver can authenticate the source of the packet, guaranteeing and certifying the source of the information. So next is access control. So when an access request is presented, resource makes a decision to allow that request to proceed or not, to access the request to proceed or not. And it is performed at a tunnel endpoints. We will discuss what is tunneling and all. So these are the main functions of the VPN. Actually, the VPN are used for virtual privacy by both normal internet users and organizers. So organizers may use VPN in order to make sure any outside users that access their data center are authorized using encrypted channels. So they can also use VPN to connect to a database from the same organization located in the different area. They have different branches. Then VPN can also use to provide remote employees, freelance workers, then business travelers with access for accessing their software applications that is hosted in the network. So to gain access to restricted resource through a VPN, the user must be authorized to use the virtual private network application. So only the authorized users can use it. So they must provide one or more authentication factors. So these can be passwords, security tokens, or biometric data. So something should be there for authentication. So when we are using the internet or website, so the internet user could have information including browsing habits, IP address that can be accessed by an attacker. So the encryption, anonymity, and the ability to get around geographically blocked content is what most individuals find valuable in a VPN. So actually the VPN provides the encryption so that will provide confidentiality of our information. Then it provides authentication. So only the authorized person can access the data or use the software. And then anonymity and also it has the ability to get around geographically blocked content. Actually, that means access control. So these are the functions of VPN. Then we can see how the VPN works. Here we can see we can first install this. There are many secure VPN providers are there. So we have to first choose whichever is more reliable for us, that we will discuss later. So we have to first choose a secure VPN provider and we have to install it. We have to download and install their software. So then you select our preferred security settings and set up a safe connection with our desired VPN server. You can see the VPN server here, and there is a connection between this system and the VPN server through an encrypted VPN tunnel. So connecting to the VPN is simple. When the connection is established, this VPN connection is established, the following will happen to the data. So the VPN software on our computer encrypts our data transcript and send it to the VPN server through a secure connection. Yeah, here we can see that here the data that are encrypted and sending to the VPN server. Then the encrypted data from your computer is decrypted by the VPN server. So the VPN server will decrypt the data what they received from the user. Then the VPN server will send your data onto the internet and receive a reply which is mean for you, the user. So the decrypted data only they are sending to the internet, and it will get the reply. So the traffic is then encrypted again by the VPN server and is sent back to you. So that means when it is after after getting the replay, the VPN server again encrypt the data and send it to the user. So after encryption only, they are sending the data back to the user. So the VPN software on your device will decrypt the data so you can actually understand and use it. So again, this what we have, we are already installed VPN software. So the VPN software that will decrypt the data and we can read the reply. So this is the process actually happening inside the VPN. So first we have to install. So we have to first choose a VPN provider that we will discuss. After that, we can send the data. So we can see that this through the encrypted VPN tunnel, data is transmitting. So only the encrypted data is transmitting between the system and the VPN server. And the reply from the internet also encrypted by the VPN server and that is sent back to the user. So the VPN connection will encrypt the data traffic. So it is much more difficult for hackers and other parties to intercept and view it. So the secure connection provides the user with the increased anonymity because the internet traffic is rerouted through an external VPN server. Here, an external VPN server we are using, and all the traffic which is rerouted through this VPN server. So when we are browsing or when we are using the internet via the IP address of the VPN server, so our our original IP address that will be remain hidden. So normally our location, even our identity could be relieved through the IP address because it is unique to the internet connection. So by using different IP means different IP address means that is the one that is assigned to the VPN server. So none of our actions online are traceable to you. So allowing the web more anonymously. Okay. So the IP address, the original IP address, it is hidden, and the hackers and others will get only the IP address that is provided by the VPN server. Then VPN application actually run in the background of our computer, okay, or a smartphone. So we can access the internet as normally we are doing how we are doing browsing and all. The normal operation is happening. Only at the background we are running this VPN application. And the performance can be affected by many factors like speed of the internet connection, the protocol type a VPN provider may use, and which type of encryption we have used. So these are the factors that will that we have to consider during the performance analysis. So this is the way the VPN works. So next we can see there are different types of VPNs are there. So that is remote access VPN, site-to-site VPN. There are two types of site-to-site VPN: internet-based, intranet based, and extranet based. So first we can see remote access VPN. So remote access VPN means here remote access VPN that permits the user to connect to a private network and access all the services and resources remotely. The connection between the user and the private network occur through the internet. Here we can see that the home is connected to the regional office, that is office through the VPS server and through a tunnel. Okay, the same what we have explained. So this connect actually the connection between the user and the private network. So private network that is occurred through the internet, and the connection is secure and it is private. It is private. So remote access VPN is useful for home users and business users also. So the remote access VPN is for home or traveling users who need to access their central LAN from a remote location. So they dial their ISP, internet service provider, and connect over the internet to the LAN. So this is made possible by installing a client software program on the remote user's laptop or PC that deals with the encryption and decryption of the VPN traffic between itself and the VPN gateway on the central LAN. So, here in this case, the user, every user, they have to install the VPN software. Then they can do the communication through this separate server. Okay, or external VPN server. So the employee of a company, while he or she may be out of station, they can use the VPN to connect to his company's private network, and remotely he or she can access files and resources on the private network. So this private users or home users of the VPN, they have to primarily use this VPN services to buy. So users aware of internet security also use the VPN service to enhance their internet security and privacy. So the even home also we can use this VPN service. Next is site-to-site VPN. So in this case of site-to-site VPN, it is also called router-to-router VPN. Here we can see that they are the routers, and the routers only we are installing this VPN software. So it is actually commonly used in large companies, or organizations. We can use this if some of the companies they having different branches or different officers at a different location, they can use this site-to-site VPN to connect the network of one office location to the network at another office location. So we have already seen there are two types are there. One is intranet based and another one is extranet based. In the case of intranet based, if a company has one or more remote locations that they wish to join in a single private network. So that means if one company they have different branches are there, and they want to join in a single private network, so they can create an intranet VPN to connect LAN to LAN. So next is actually extranet based. Extranet based means when a company that has a close relationship with another company, for example, as a partner or a supplier or a customer. So they can build an extranet VPN that connects LAN to LAN and that allows all of the various companies to work in a shared environment. So that is extranet based. So intranet based and extranet based are there. So intranet based means only that only the participants are all are inside that company, all are part of that company. And extranet based, the company is having a connection with any other company or any other person or any other supplier or customer. So we can see what is actually the difference between this site-to-site and a remote access VPN. Actually, in the case of both, that is the site-to-site VPN and remote access VPN, both offers a similar benefit as they actually to the different users. Their use cases are same, but in the case of site-to-site VPN, that uses a secure gateway to connect a network at one location to one or more network at another location. So this type of VPN doesn't require each device at endpoint to have a VPN client installed because the gateway handles the traffic. So the figure we can see that actually the gateway that handles the traffic. So a site-to-site VPN allows companies with multiple locations to use their resources more efficiently by allowing one location to share the resources of another through the encrypted VPN channel. So the data is accessed only through this encrypted VPN channel. So if we, for an instance, a field office can connect directly to a company's headquarters to allow employees to access resources from the headquarters and vice versa. So instead of connecting whole location through gateway, a remote access VPN connects individual computers. Okay, but the case of remote access VPN, it connects individual computers or devices to a private network. So in that case, we have to install this VPN software in each and every systems. So with this type VPN, every device need to have a VPN client app installed. So the remote access VPN uses the public internet to provide. Here we can see the for each this house that remote client all having their own VPN software, VPN application software. So remote access VPN uses a public internet to provide remote users secure access to their company's network. So the main gateway then requires each devices to authenticate a user's identity to join. So, so we have to decide whether we need, according to our application, we have to decide whether we need a remote access VPN or a site-to-site VPN. Depends upon how many offices we have through through we can certainly how we can do the communication and all. So we have to consider. According to that, we can use remote access VPN or site-to-site VPN. So next we can see. So in this working of VPN, we have seen two technologies. One is encryption technology, and another one is tunneling. So first we can see in VPN encryption. So VPN services use encryption to secure data, as it travels between the VPN software on our device and the VPN server we are connecting to. So the VPN encryption, we can say that it's a process of securing data within the VPN client, VPN server tunnel to make sure it cannot be exploited by anyone. So we have already seen that secure data, that is the encrypted data is transmitting between the VPN client and the VPN server, and that is passing through a tunnel. So we know that the encryption means it is a process of converting data into an unintelligible code, so that unwanted parties cannot access it. So our data that is traveled through a secure tunnel. So that prevents internet service providers, governments, hackers, or any other third party from spying on our internet activity. So the VPN, there are VPN encryption protocols are there. So they will set rules for rules that determines how the secure tunnel get formed, and depending on the protocol we use, the VPN will have different speed, different capabilities, and even vulnerabilities also different. So every VPN protocol that uses algorithm to encrypt or decrypt data. So that algorithm is called cipher. So so there are two points are there. One is the VPN protocol, another one is cipher. So VPN protocol means which are used to create a secure channel or secure tunnel between the VPN client and VPN server. And ciphers, second point, that is cipher. So cipher are used to encrypt the data that flows through the tunnel. So ciphers are actually operates in we know that every cipher we need a secret key is needed. So the main part of a encryption algorithm cipher. We can say that that is a key. So we have to transmit this key in a secure way. So there we have to consider any security method for transmitting this key. So the VPN uses, there are three types of encryption. They are symmetric key encryption, that is to protect data in transit. So for transmitting the data between the VPN client and the VPN server, we are using symmetric key encryption algorithm. And we already discussed for an encryption algorithm, we need a secret key, and the key should be transmitted in a very secure way. So for that, we have to use a public key encryption. The public key encryption for data channel encryption key distribution. So the key should be distributed through a secure channel. So that is so that's why we are using a public key encryption method for transmitting this key or distributing this key between this client and the server. And then next is actually hashing. So hashing to confirm data integrity. That means no one could not change our data. For verifying that, we are using this hashing. So we will discuss one by one. First one is the VPN encryption, that is symmetric key encryption. So VPN providers uses many types of encryption ciphers. They are Blockfish cipher, that is 128-bit key. Then these are different symmetric key algorithms that we are commonly used in VPN providers. So when we are according to our application, we have to choose the VPN providers. So different VPN providers are available. So this VPN providers may have different encryption algorithm they may have used. So according to our security purpose, we have to choose which VPN provider we have to use in our application. So one of the commonly used cipher is Blockfish cipher. So that uses a 128-bit key. So the bit key is also very important because we can say that the longer the key, then the connection is more secure. The shorter key often means poor security. So as it that may be susceptible to the brute force attack if the key size is very low, very small. So that means we can the hacker can try for various passwords, and they can find the password. So in the case of Blockfish cipher, we are using 128-bit key, and the next one was the Twofish cipher. So Twofish cipher has 128-bit block size instead of the 64-bit on Blockfish has. So actually, it is similar to this Flowfish, but it is 128-bit block size we are using that instead of this 64-bit one Blockfish has. So the next is actually AES cipher. So AES cipher, there are three types are there. AES can have advanced. AES means advanced encryption standard. So AES can have 128-bit, 192-bit, and 256-bit keys. So most commonly we are using AES 256. In nowadays, most of the VPN providers, they are providing AES they are using AES 256 for encryption. So because it is considered as unbreakable, because we are using a 256-bit key that cannot be brute forced, because it would take billions of years to run all the possible combinations using even we are using some modern computers. So next is Camellia cipher, that is also supports 128-bit, 192-bit, and 256-bit keys. They are rarely used actually. Then 3 DES, that is triple DES data encryption standard. So triple DES actually we are using, but it is also rarely using. Most commonly we are using AES 256, and some of the some of the VPN providers, they are using Blockfish cipher. The next is actually MPPE cipher. So MPPE cipher stands for Microsoft point-to-point encryption, and it's a cipher often used for that is PPTP, that is Microsoft point-to-point connections and dial-up connections, the cipher. And in this case, the cipher supports 40-bit keys, 56-bit key, and 128-bit keys. So that is specific for the purpose of this Microsoft point-to-point encryption. That is point-to-point PPTP connections only. That is point-to-point tunnel protocol. So that we will discuss later. So in that case, we are using this MPP cipher. And reminding all, nowadays we are commonly using this AES 256 key because that is somewhat we can consider it as a unbreakable because of its key size. And we are doing more number of permutations, and we are doing some shifting operations and all. So the algorithm is also somewhat complex. So we can consider this AES as a unbreakable. Then next is okay. So now we can see how the confidentiality or and confidentiality is provided here. There are two parties here. We can see James and Charlie. So James having some plain text. So James having some plain text, and he is transmitting some data to Charlie. And the data is transmitting through they are using some symmetric key algorithm for encryption. So here we can here it is specified as RSA. Anyway, in the case of symmetric key cryptography, RSA is a public key encryption. But in the case of a symmetric key encryption that we are already discussed, that is AES blockfish cipher. In that case, we have to transmit our key between this Charlie and James first before the communication. So it should be shared between James and Charlie in a secure way. So for transmitting this key, the secret key, we are using Diffie-Hellman key exchange method. Then the data, that original plain text is here. Hey Charlie, what did you learn at school today? So that is encrypted using our Charlie's encryption key, and they will get the ciphertext, and that ciphertext is transmitting, and that is transmitting through the tunnel, that is encrypted tunnel, and the Charlie will get the data and he will decrypt the data using the secret key, and he can recover the data. So the confidentiality is provided here. So that means no one else can read this message. Then we can see in the case the public key encryption. What is the use of public key encryption in the case of this VPN encryption? So VPN use public key encryption to protect the transfer of AES keys that we already discussed before the transmission. For the data transmission, we are using this AES, that is asymmetric key encryption. So before we are starting the encryption, we have to transfer the key. Through a secure way. So the VPN uses a public key encryption to protect the transfer of these AES keys. The server uses the public key of the VPN client to encrypt the key and then send it to the client. So the client program on our computer that decrypts the message using its own private key. So most of the VPN providers use RSA for encryption handshake. So for this transmitting this key in a secure way, most of the VPN providers uses the RSA algorithm. So then additionally, 1024-bit RSA key is no longer considered as safe. So the VPN providers that uses 2048-bit or 4098-bit RSA is most commonly we are using in VPN providers for transmitting the data in a secure way. That means not the data. We can say that there is a AES keys. For public key encryption, we are using for transmitting the key, for sharing the key securely. Then hashing algorithm. So hashing algorithm, the third encryption method, which is used by the VPN, is called hashing algorithm. Hashing. So there are many hashing algorithms are available. They are MD5 secure hash algorithm, SHA. So in VPN providers, commonly they are using secure hash algorithm, that is SHA. SHA-1 and SHA-2 SHA-2 are there. So nowadays, the VPN providers are using SHA-2. So here, the purpose of this encryption method is to preserve the integrity of the data in transit. That is to confirm that message actually came from the supposed source. That is, SHA-1 is very common in the hashing algorithm. It's actually a strong cryptographic hashing algorithm. Then it is somewhat stronger than MD5 algorithm. MD5 is another hashing algorithm. Then this SHA-1 or SHA-2, that is, it is used to provide data integrity, to guarantee that the data has not been altered in transit. And authentication, to guarantee the data came from the source that is supposed to come from. Okay, so it should be it is guaranteed that it is coming from the correct source itself. Then so here we are providing actually a digital signature standard, so that will be discussed. So most commonly in nowadays, the VPN providers are using SHA-2 that is a secure strongest algorithm. And there are 3 types of SHA-2 are available actually. 256 message digest, and it will produce a 256 bit message digest, and then 384 bit message digest, and then 512 bit message digest. Most commonly, we are using 256 SHA-2. Most commonly, we are using for hashing purpose. Then here we can see how this data integrity is provided. So here, James and Charlie are there. So here there is a plain text. Hey Charlie, what did you learn at school today? So here it is saying that here we are using MD5, but commonly nowadays most of the VPN providers are using SHA-2 because it is more stronger than this MD5. So then using any of the hashing algorithm, it will find the hash value. So hashing algorithm, it is a one-way function. So it will generate a hash value corresponding to that message. And you can see that the James append the message digest to the original message. The original message along with this hash value, we are sending it to Charlie. So at the receiver end, that is Charlie's side, we can see that Charlie separates the James message digest from the original message. From the original message, it separates the message digest, and then from the taking this original message, he will also apply the same hash algorithm. So hash algorithm means the MD5 or SHA-1 or SHA-2, any algorithm what we have used in the center side, same algorithm we are using and generating the hash value. Then we are checking what we have received. That is same. That is, we are checking the hashing algorithm output and the hash value which is received from the James. If it is same, means no one has changed our data. So the data security, data integrity is provided. So next is message authentication. No message authentication and a non-repudiation with a digital signature. So that means here we can see that here James and Charlie, they are transmitting the data. So here we are using digital signature. Here we are using the hashing algorithm along with this public key cryptography. We are using MD5 algorithm for hashing and RSA algorithm for public key encryption. The original message is there. That is, hey Charlie, what did you learn at school today? And the hashing algorithm, it will generate the hash value. And this hash value, that is that value we are encrypted using James encryption key. That is RSA. In RSA is a public key encryption system. There we have two keys, private key and public key are there. So here he will encrypt the key, encrypt the message digest using James encryption key. And that means before we are starting this operation, we have to share the public key. We have to calculate the public key and private key, and the public key should be publicly announced. So this hash value, the hash value that will be the output of this hash function, that is encrypted using James encryption key, and we are using RSA encryption algorithm, and we will form the digital signature. So here we can see the James is sending the original message along with the digital signature and transmitting to the Charlie. So James append the message digest to the original message. And the Charlie side, we can see he will get the original message along with the message digest. So what he will do? He will separate the message and the original message and digest. From the digest, he will apply the RSA algorithm for decryption, and he will decrypt the digital signature using the James decryption key. That means using the private key only, the James encrypted the data and formed the digital signature. And the receiver side, Charlie uses the public key of the James, and he will decrypt the data, and he will get the hash value. Then this Charlie, he has also the original message. So he will apply the hashing algorithm on the original message, and from the original message, he will get the hash value. So that hash value and the output of this RSA algorithm, he will compare. So Charlie verifies that the message digest, that is James message digest, with his message digest from he generated from the original message. So if it is same, means there is we can say that the authentication is taken properly. So using this digital signature method, the sender cannot say that or deny their transmission. So we can prevent this non-repudiation, sender non-repudiation actually. So otherwise the sender can send message, and after some time he can deny he didn't send that message like that. But if you are using this digital signature, then the sender cannot deny that he didn't send the message. So here using this cryptographic this methods, the message authenticity, that is, it ensures that the message was sent from the authentic origin, and also it is protects against the sender's non-repudiation, that is preventing a situation in which the sender of a specific message intentionally and falsely denied their transmittal of the message. So we can see what is tunneling. So tunneling, we can see that there is a between the VPN client and VPN server, the data is transmitting through a tunnel. So we can say that tunneling is a virtual point-to-point connection made through a public network. The VPN tunnel insulates and encapsulates the internet traffic. It provides a secure private connection between our computer and a different computer or server at another end. That means we already seen that virtual VPN is based on the concept of tunneling, just like a water pipe, that is liquid flowing inside it. So the VPN tunnel insulates and encapsulates the internet traffic. So it creates a private tunnel of data, and it flows inside the unsecured network. So when the internet traffic flows inside a tunnel, it provides security, private. So that is it's a private connection between the computer and a server, the ISP server. So it is paired with a strong encryption algorithm that we already discussed. So it is virtually impossible for our data to view or hacked by others. So here it is actually we are using encryption and encapsulation. What is encapsulation? Encapsulation means it's a process of wrapping an internet data packet inside another packet. So that is you can think of this is as an outer tunnel structure. So like putting a letter inside an envelope and sending. So to actually create a tunnel, the tunnel protocol is used. There are many protocols are there. So different VPNs uses different protocols. Different protocols, they may use different encryption process. So by using a tunnel, the user device will connect to another network while data is encrypted and IP address is hidden. So this is what we will hide private information from attacker. Or also they will not get our information, individuals' information. So tunnel will connect a user's device to an exit node or another distinct location, which makes it seems like a user is in another location. It will not reveal where the actually the user is sitting. So we can discuss which are the different VPN protocols. So there are VPN connections use encryption connection, that is a tunnel. So there are different ways in which the VPN connection can be set up. So there are protocols are there. So different protocols are there. They will specify how we can set up this tunnel connection, how we can set up this VPN. So this protocol that ensures that your data remains safe and cannot be read by others. The most commonly used VPN protocols are IP security, secure socket layer, and transport layer security. Then point-to-point tunneling protocol, layer 2 tunneling protocol, and open VPN. So there are many VPN protocols are there. So I am just listing some of them actually. So we can see some of the protocols. So here first we can see the IP security, that is IPsec. Most of them maybe heard about this IPsec because it is very common. It is an internet protocol security. It is actually used to secure internet communication across the IP network. That is, the IP framework provides a cryptographic security services at layer 3, that network layer of the OSI model. So it provides these essential features for secure communication. That is peer-to-peer authentication, then data confidentiality, data integrity, data origin authentication. So these are the features that is provided by this IPsec. And so the IPsec secures the internet protocol communication by verifying the session and encrypts each data packet during the connection, during the data transmission time. So here we can see this IPsec is connected with some core protocols. They are IPsec authentication header, that is AH, and encapsulating security payload, that is ESP. So we can say that this in the case of this AH, that is AH and ESP. So that means we can say that they are actually core protocol that is associated with this IPsec. That is first one is IPsec authentication header. So this is a protocol that provides authentication services for the this IPsec protocol. So it allows the recipient messages to verify that the supposed originator of the message actually it is coming from the correct originator, that is supposed originator. So it is verified by this authentication header. Then it also allows the recipient to verify that the intermediate devices in the router they have not changed any of the data. That is, it guarantees the data integrity. So it also provides protection against replay attack, whereas a message is captured by an unauthorized user and resend it. That is called replay attack. So this AH authentication provides authentication. That means it will provide authentication. The recipient message has to verify that it is coming from a supposed author or originator, or we can say that it should provide data integrity. We have to verify the data integrity, and also it provides protection against replay attack. And another one is actually encapsulating security payload, that is ESP. So ESP, actually AH ensures the integrity of the data in datagram, but not its privacy. Okay. So when the information in a datagram that is further should be protected by this ESP, that is which encrypts the payload of the IP datagram. So this AH provides only the integrity, but this ESP that provides that encrypts the payload of the IP datagram. So then we can see some of the IP support components. There are some of the components that supports IPsec. They are, first one is the encryption or hashing algorithm that we already discussed. Actually, this AH and the ESP, they are generic and they do not have any specific encryption or an encryption mechanism or hashing mechanism. We can use any of the encryption mechanism we already discussed. Then for secure for hashing, that is they are using hashing algorithm. They can use MD5 or SHA-1 secure hash algorithm. Then next is actually security policies and security associations. That means this IPsec provides flexibility in letting different devices to decide how they want to implement security. So they require they have to keep some track of the security relationship between themselves. Then only they can provide flexibility for other devices for letting them to implement the security. So this is done in IPsec using this security policies and security associations. So that is by providing different ways to exchange this security association information. We can get a track, and we can decide which devices we can allow, they can capable of for implementing security. And next is internet key exchange or key management. For two devices to exchange encrypted information, they need to share keys for unlocking the encryption. So they also need a way to exchange security association information. So the in IPsec, a protocol called Internet Key Exchange, that is IKE, that provides these capabilities. Then IPsec runs in two modes. That is, one is transport mode, and another one is tunneling mode. So they will operate in two modes actually. One is tunneling mode, and that is transport mode. That means the work of this transport mode is to encrypt the message in the data packet, and the tunneling mode means that encrypt the whole data packet. So IPsec can also used with the other security protocol to improve their security system. The next is the SSL and the TLS. So SSL is secure socket layer, and TLS is transport layer security. They generate a VPN connection, whereas the web browser acts as a client, and the user access is prohibited to specific application instead of entire network. So this so the online if you are considering online shopping website, we are commonly using this SSL and TLS protocol. because it is easy to switch to SSL by web browsers with almost no action is required from the user as a web browser come integrated with this SSL and TLS. And SSL connections have HTTPs in the initial of the URL instead of this HTTP. We are using HTTPS. Next is actually point-to-point tunneling protocol, that is PPTP. We already discussed one encryption algorithm that is used with this PPTP, that is point-to-point tunneling protocol. So that is it is one of the most common, easiest to set up and computationally fastest. So PPTP is also subject to serious security vulnerabilities. That is it is actually for widely used first widely used protocol. This contains but it contains some drawbacks. That means it is not more advisable. If speed is more important, then we can the if the that means if it not we are if the speed is more important, then we are not commonly using this not using this PPTP. But if the safety is important, then we can use this PPTP because it provides more speed, less speed. So it could be, it is not recommended except in case where security is absolutely not essential. So it provides, it is the fastest way. Actually, the computationally, it is very fastest. But it does in the case of security, but safety side, it has some demerits. So it could be the case if you want to bypass restrictions set up by streaming services. Next is actually layer 2 tunneling protocol. So layer 2 tunneling protocol does not provide strong encryption or authentication by itself. Another protocol called IPsec is most often used in conjunction with the L2TP, that is layer 2 tunneling protocol. That we already discussed this IPsec that is used with the other protocols also. That means we can use here for this layer 2 tunneling protocol that does not provide strong encryption and authentication. So in that case, we can use this IPsec along with this L2TP. Then it will be act as a secure protocol. When used together, the L2TP and IPsec are much more secure than PPTP. So we already told PPTP is actually it's not that much secure. More important to this for the speed. Okay, for it is very fast and support older devices also, but it is the least secure PPTP. But combining this L2TP and IPsec, it is more secure than PPTP, but still more suited for anonymization than for security. So it is actually suitable for providing anonymity. So we can see each protocol is a specific for some function. So we already discussed PPTP, that is commonly used. If a speed is important in some connection, the speed is important than safety, then we can use PPTP because it provides more security. It provides more speed than security. So it is PPTP is subjected to serious security vulnerabilities. So so fundamentally, we can say that it is not that much secure. So it is repeatedly cracked in a very security analysis. So in the PPTP is not recommended except the cases where security is absolutely not essential. But in the case coming to this L2 tunneling protocol, if we use with the IPsec, then it is more secure when compared to this PPTP. But anyway, but it is giving more preference to anonymity than security. Here, L2TP sometimes has problem with the firewalls because of its use of UDP port 500, which is some firewalls have been known to block. So it is actually using the port 500. So some firewalls they block this protocol. So it may having because of this problem, it may have blocked by some firewalls. So when compared to the PPTP, it is more secure. But it is slower than when compared to new VPN protocols. Then sometimes it is blocked by firewalls, and it only provides a only moderately secure. Then coming to the next is actually OpenVPN. So OpenVPN is actually it is a highly configurable open source protocol. It is most widely used in VPN protocol. It is actually based on OpenSSL and TLS protocols. The most VPN services support this OpenVPN, and it is available for a lot of different platforms: Windows, Android, Linux, and routers. And it is available freely for all platforms and is held in high regard by the community, and it is widely adopted among consumer VPN services. OpenVPN can most easily be configured to mask itself as ordinary VPN traffic, which helps it evade detection by filters or firewalls. So most consider the OpenVPN to be the best choice in nowadays. The only drawback is that it does not work with the Mac OS and iOS. So you need to use a different protocol for that. Then we can say that this is an open source protocol, so it is available freely for all platforms, and it is actually easily configured. Most commonly nowadays we are using this OpenVPN as the VPN protocol. Then next is how we can choose a VPN. So how we can select a VPN. So we already discussed there are different protocols are there, but they each one having their own some of them having some drawbacks, but some merits are there. So according to our application, we have to select the VPN protocol. So each VPN providers they are using their own VPN protocols are there, and then encryption techniques are also different. So according to our application, we have to choose what type of VPN we have to use. That means we have to check that the VPN provider is using which type of protocol they are using, which type of encryption techniques they are using, hashing algorithm they are using. You have to check all these. So first the VPN is illegal for many countries actually. So one should first check if they are legal in their own country first. That is the first point. When we are choosing a VPN, we have to first check whether it is legal in our country. And then so if it is legal only, we can use this. So in India, it's actually legal. Many VPN will offer, that is, they will provide same technology. So they are using same technology. Most of the VPN providers they are using for this protocol and encryption. But say some are free and some are paid versions are there. So the paid VPN services tend to be more trusted and include more security features. So good VPN services will be provided by this paid version. So paid VPN services tend to be more trusted and include other security features. So good VPN services will be the upfront about their security, their strength and weaknesses, and their transparency. So when we are looking to choose a VPN, so we have to check what are the features they are providing. So we have to choose according to the features they are providing. So what all are required in our application? According to that, we can choose. Then under this cases, actually, the price of the VPN may range vary from actually $10 to $13 a month. So we have to check in applications. We have to check the price also. Many vendors will offer free trials of their paid versions. So some of the free versions may have include only a limited limit. There is a limit. They include a limit to how much data can be used. But we can use this trial version first, and if it is okay, then we can go for a paid version. Paid version. So when we are choosing a VPN, we have to look all these cases. First, we have to check whether it is a legal in our country or not. That is very important. Actually, is it a legal operation? VPN countries, they are illegal. In India, actually, it is legal. They are not banned. No, they are not banned. Actually, that means here anyway it is actually hiding the IP address, but after all the service enables you to become a lot more anonymous online, which can be useful for the hackers also, the hackers and online criminals. If those people it can be traced online, so it is a very difficult to track these hackers and online criminals if they use the VPN. So some companies, they are not considering this VPN as illegal, but most of the companies it is legal. So when we are choosing this, first we have to check whether it is a legal or not in our country. So that means in the case of in conducting illegal activities while using this VPN, that's why it is illegal in some countries. Therefore, VPN actually legal activities when we are using gaming, Netflix, YouTube. There is no problem for at all. But if you are download some illegal files such as unofficial copies of movies and music and some sites. So if we are using like that, then it will be an illegal operation for any confidential data, unofficial data. That is unofficially we are downloading some confidential data. That is actually illegal. Using this VPN, we are doing like that. Then it will be considered as illegal VPN. VPN. Is we consider this VPN as safe actually. So because actually they are hiding our IP address, but our traffic is redirected through a VPS server. Okay, that is an external server. Okay, so the all data is passing through the external server. So this external server is provided by the VPN provider. Okay, so the provider can see everything about us. So this is important that we have to confidence in our VPN provider. So most of the VPN services do not keep a log what we will do and what data we are reading and all. They will not keep a log for that, and also they will not store any data. So we have to choose a VPN. So when we are choosing a VPN provider, we have to choose a trusted VPN. Otherwise, they can use our data for some other purposes. There are VPN services that abuse the data that travels through their servers, and they can sell our data to advertisers. So this is especially the case with this free VPNs commonly. So these are not safe actually. So before using a VPN, it is therefore important that you have to research in advance. After that only we have to use a VPN. Then another point is actually, is the VPN slow down our connection, internet connection? Because here we are using an extra server, extra VPN server. So so we may have the doubt, that means is it slow down our internet connection? Actually, it is true. Some VPNs have effect on that. That is, they may, because all the data that is redirected through a remote server, so it takes longer, so it could slow down our internet connection. But this is not always the case. So there are many VPNs that do everything in their power to make your internet connection as fast as it can be. So we have, when we are choosing an VPN, we have to look on those things. You have to choose a VPN, VPN provider. It should be a trusted one, and it should provide a fast internet connection, and mm, and it should provide all the security, and we have to check the price of that. So all these factors we have to consider when we are choosing a VPN provider, and also we have to check which protocol they are using, which encryption techniques they are using. So these are the things we have to ensure when we are using when we are choosing a VPN. Okay. Um, any doubts? Then you can ask from participant side.
Yeah. Doctor. Yes, one second. Yeah, yes, Dr. Enchus Kata. It's very nice presentations. You had done a very nice job for the last 1.5 hour. So we have some questions from the participants. So I will read it out. And by this time, dear participants, if you have any more doubts, you can ask in the chat box. So, ma'am, one question from Mr. Shanawaz Ahmad. He is telling like it is some drawback. VPN are slow, VPNs are expensive, and VPNs are complicated, and VPN is a mismatch for cloud mobile environment. The above are the some problems related to VPN. So he's asking, is there any other technology for removing the existing problem?
That I already explained. It is actually a slowdown on internet, but not with all the VPN providers. There are many VPN providers out there. So we have to, when we are selecting a VPN provider, so we have to check. We have to choose according to our application. Is there any if the speed is important in our case, we have to choose a VPN provider that should provide a that should they have some power to provide a fast internet. So anyway, we are using an extra server, so it will slow down our internet connection. But now there are many VPN providers are there, so they have some power to provide a fast internet. And it is actually expensive, means it will we have to anyway in an organization and all, it's, if it is needed, then we have to buy it, that's all. And there are free VPN providers are there, but they may have some drawbacks that we already discussed. They have if the security is so much important, then we have to then we have to go for an expensive VPN providers, that is paid VPN providers. If it is not more important, then we can go for free VPN. There are free VPN providers are available actually. Then it is somewhat complicated, means it is actually the different software providers are there. We are installing, and that means it is not more complicated. We can't say that it's more complicated actually. Then yeah, it may have mismatch for cloud mobile networks. Here, some of the providers, they are providing for mobile environment, but some of the providers it is not acceptable. Already I have explained this Open VPN. It is actually, it is supports most of the platform they are supporting, but it is not supporting the iOS and Mac OS. So according to our need, we have to choose which VPN we can use, and is it keep our data safe. That is also I have already explained, because we can't say that it is safe, because they paid for paid, so that is paid by this VPN servers. They will not keep track of our log data, and they will not store our data. So they can they will not reveal our data to anyone. But in the case of this but in the case of this free versions, there may be some safety problems will occur. So, so if the safety is more important, we have to go for a paid version of VPN. I think I have covered all that topics. Is it
So,
clear?
So it seems it's clear, ma'am. So one more questions from the same participants. It seems it is not related to VPN anyway. It is what's the use of convergent algorithm? Can we use convergent algorithm for the better performance of encrypting our data? That is the question.
Actually, convergence algorithm we are not using for encryption. That is, we are using for in machine learning. We are using this convergence algorithm. It is not using for encryption, for encrypting our data. For encrypting data, we are already discussed in VPN. We have used mainly we are using AES encryption. That is AES 256 is commonly using for encryption. And Blowfish algorithm we are using, but anyway, the AES is commonly using because it is considered as unbreakable. So we are using AES encryption for VPN networks.
Okay, dear participants, any more questions from your side? So if you have queries, you can. Yeah, ma'am, one more question. What's the use of HMAC in cryptography?
That is hashing. So
Yeah.
we already discussed that is hashing means that it provides data integrity. So we are confirming that the data is not changed by anyone. So any of the intermediate device that doesn't change that doesn't make any changes on our data. So that is it provides okay not HMAC. It is asking yeah. So it will HMAC actually provides data integrity. Data integrity is very important in the case of a secure communication.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions? Okay, ma'am, it seems like no more questions from participant side. So once again, thank you for being with us for this wonderful session. And thanks once again. Thank you once again, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for the organizers and especially Dr. Jeevan KM for inviting me to this FDP and giving me such an opportunity. Thank you. Thank you, participants. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, ma'am, we can leave. And dear participants, we already shared the link for. We already shared the link for first and second session attendance for the first and second sections. Means you have to fill it twice. So first one, you select the first session, and for the second filling, you have to select the second sessions. Okay, you have to fill the link 2 times. Then only you will get the attendance for the first session and second session. Okay. Okay, we can meet again at 2:30 for the last session of today's. Okay, thank you.